The Zalman ZM-T1 Plus. It sounds fancy, but is it? For only $25 to $30, what do you get? Well, let's start at the top, shall we? It comes in a brown cardboard box, nothing too fancy. This one doesn't include a power supply, and for about $25, I'm kinda glad it doesn't. The power button, reset button, and input-output are conveniently located at the top front of the case. You get one USB 3.0, 3.5mm headphone and microphone jacks, and a single USB 2.0 port. Immediately below that is a door for your 5¼ optical drive. Other than the Zalman logo and a single light to indicate storage drive access, the front of the case is bare, and edged by some stylized vents. Speaking of ventilation, you get two 120mm mounting points for this case side's fans, or maybe a radiator if you absolutely wanted to. You can also mount an 80mm fan in the back of the case, and another 120mm in the front. This case sports a bottom-mounted power supply setup, and cable management from the power supply unit is limited, but usable. You can mount a MINI-ITX or MICRO-ATX in the T1 Plus, and the PCIe securing system is a bit strange. It's like they wanted to make it toolless, but changed their minds in the process and instead made it a bit more difficult. A bracket held on by two screws must first be removed to remove the PCIe cards, which are also held in at the normal screw mount locations. Weird. You can mount a total of 6 drives in this case. One 5¼ drive, two 3½ drives, and one 2½ drive here, and another on the back of the motherboard tray. Finally, it seems like they tried to put a 2½ drive bay mounting point in the bottom of the case, and it seems to work. The rear of the motherboard tray is quite easy to access, as both case side panels are removable by loosening 2 thumb screws on each side. There is plenty of room cut out behind the motherboard to allow swapping of thermal solution mounts without removing the motherboard from the case. Overall, this case is not too shabby for one of the cheapest components that went into our $200 computer build. While it's certainly not the smallest case ever, it's also not too massive to use in a decent home theater setup if you, say, have plenty of room on the side of the entertainment center or something like that. There were a few strange quirks and downsides to this case. One, I wouldn't trust the included fan to move too much air. If you're going to be trying to heat your house with something like a 390X, you may want to invest in a better case fan. Also, it was labeled as an LED fan, but I couldn't find any LEDs, and it certainly doesn't light up. But that's fine with me. Secondly, the front panel connectors have very long cables, and when I say very, I mean ridiculously. You could easily place this case next to another computer and swap the power buttons. Honestly though, I suppose I'd rather have them too long than too short. The dust filter on the side panel is held on with plastic pop rivet type connectors. These break if you try to install a fan. The filter is then held on by the fan screws, but if you ever decide to remove the fans, your filter will be, not very secure. Again, it's not a big deal, but something to keep in mind. For around $25 to $30, I think this is a pretty good deal. It's cheap, it's very easy to work in, and it worked for us. Thanks for watching, I'm Chris, and this is XK Tech Reviews.